What's up, y'all? GoofyRhexxi here. Hope everybody is doing well, and welcome, guys, to the weekly headliner update, week number 75. Now, if you're new to the weekly headliner, this is where we discuss what is upcoming this week in Marvel Strike Force, and then we recap the important topics from the previous week as well. Now, this week is going to be a little bit of a condensed version of the weekly headliner. We're doing this on Tuesday instead of Monday due to some scheduling issues here. But we definitely still got a lot of stuff to talk about. We have the update preview for this week. We got some new features that are coming in and sort of want to talk about that and sort of how we feel about them so far, and some features that I would also like to see added in the game. We're definitely going to talk about that as well. Some news that went out yesterday in regards to Morgan Le Fay getting more reds and the Pestilence Orbs. The Unlimited X-Men team, are we being a little bit too hard on that team right now? So many things to talk about here, guys, on the weekly headliner update, and we're going to start right now. All right, y'all, welcome back. And like I said, I got lots to talk about here. We got a lot of stuff to talk about on the weekly headliner update, and we're doing a condensed version of this. So let's get into it really quickly here. First, I want to talk about some of the update items for this week, right? So obviously we're going to be getting 4 new characters in Sunfire, Rogue. We're also going to be getting Mighty Thor and Valkyrie to their respective teams. A lot of buzz initially was created for the Unlimited X-Men team, but of course, after getting Phantom X, Dazzler, Gambit in this current patch that we're in right now, yeah, we're not super excited about the Unlimited X-Men team as a whole. Some of us as content creators have been able to test the team out on the playtest server, Dazzler, Phantom X, Gambit, and we've been underwhelmed. I made a video talking about Gambit and him in the Doom raids, and some of you guys said he's not meant to be a Doom raid character, and while I understand that, he was an expensive release character. He's a part of a legendary Horseman team. He is Gambit, a fan favorite character. All those things they kind of marketed him as Gambit and Rogue, right? All those things sort of led us to believe that he was going to be a dominant character in Marvel Strike Force, the unique special ability, and ultimately he just isn't. He's a flop in my personal opinion. If he's only going to be good in Cosmic Crucible, I've tested him out in War, I've tested him out in Blitz. He did not do very well there. He lacks damage with his passive ability. He also does not always land his ability block because his focus is a big issue. So he's 4 in my Gambit is 4-4, and some of you guys may say, well, he's only 4-4. Of course he's not going to perform that well. Well, realistically, how many players are only going to get him to 4-4? If he can't perform at that level, then in my opinion, he is a flop in my personal opinion, because other characters at 3-3 perform better than Gambit at 4-4. So a little down right now about the Unlimited X-Men team, as is the entire community. So not a lot of people are excited about Sunfire, and probably maybe not as excited about Rogue as it previously were before, considering now that her special is also 6 out of 6. So my hope and my desire is that our opinions may change on this team and that they will be better. Maybe they need to make some tweaks to this team, but being a legendary Horseman team, if they're only going to be tied to one game mode, it's going to be a little bit of a letdown for, I think, a lot of players who have to invest into this team now, because of this data mine that we saw yesterday, right? So this came out yesterday, Unlimited X-Men and Apocalypse. Strike has solved another piece of the puzzle to prepare you for the eventual confrontation with Apocalypse. To face Saban there himself, you will need a full team of Darkhold and Unlimited X-Men, in addition to the future Horseman teams. More details on how to muster your strength are currently being deciphered. Stay tuned. So being that we're going to have to build out the Unlimited X-Men team now to be able to get Apocalypse, they need to be better than what we're seeing right now. But maybe the jury is still out. Maybe we're being too hard on the Unlimited X-Men team, which is a question that I posed in the very beginning. Maybe we need to be patient and maybe we need to wait. But as it stands right now, with some initial testing here, they do not look very good. I'm not surprised that we need the full teams, like the full Legendary Horseman teams. I thought initially they would just stick with the Legendary Horsemen. I feel like that was going to be it. But now that we're going to need the full teams, it's going to be hard to ignore whatever game mode that they're meant for. It's going to be hard for us to ignore them, right? So yeah, you're going to have to build your Unlimited X-Men team. Do you have to build them now? Probably not, but definitely in the future to get Apocalypse, you're probably going to need them. Now, well, I would say this, that for this patch, I think a lot more players are excited about this new addition to Marvel Strike Force, and they are excited about the Limited X-Men. And it's the new reworked Hero Asgardian teams that will feature 2 new characters, right? So Mighty Thor and Valkyrie. They look like they're going to be a pretty decently strong war defense teams. There are also some things in their kits that maybe mention that they might also be usable outside of war off, not outside of war offense, but also on, so now outside of war defense, maybe they'll also be good on war offense as well, because there are some things here like in war, this attack does not ignores defense up with Mighty Thor's passive ability. In war, she can apply trauma, so not just war defense, she can apply trauma there. If we jump back to this blog post, I believe Heimdall has a mention of in war, he can do something as well. So yeah, in war, on turn, generate 2 ability energy for 2 random hero Asgardian allies or self that were not at full energy. So there's some cooldown issues a little bit with some of these characters that are here, right? In like Mighty Thor, there's some cooldown issues, Valkyrie. So therefore, it's nice that every single time when Heimdall does take a turn, that he'll be able to generate 2 ability energy. But it looks like this is also going to be effective outside of just war defense and could be used on war offense. Although I think probably players are going to stick to war defense with this team, but I'm definitely a lot more excited about it. I'm wondering if the Asgardian team is going to be the next Scourge team, right? We've seen now the trend of Dark Hunters, like these war teams now being Scourge necessary teams, right? So Young Avengers, Dark Hunters, A-Force. Now potentially we might have Asgardian as being the next Scourge needed team. So I don't think this is going to be a team that you can ignore. I think you're probably going to want to build them just to be on the safe side. If you're, I think maybe not, maybe wait until it actually is confirmed, but I would say at least keep a pulse on it and pay attention, just in case that is something that does happen. Try to unlock the characters as best as you possibly can, to make sure you get enough shards for them as well, because there's a potential chance that they could be the next Scourge team. But definitely for me, I'm super excited about the Asgardian team and them coming to the game. Thor is my favorite character in Marvel, period, so I'm very excited about being able to build him up. But some of the things I wanted to talk about here are some new features that are going to be added to this next patch, and one of them is going to be this new raid sim. I'm trying to type it in and find it here, but one of them is going to be it's here. One of them is going to be this new raid sim that's going to be added into Marvel Strike Force. And I will say this, I think that raid simming is what we want, but the way that they're doing it is probably not what we desired, right? So available in Doom, Ultimus, and Greek raids on select nodes for commanders level 62 and up, we'll be able to use the new raid sim feature. The aim of the raid sim is to allow you to cruise through the easier early nodes to afford more time to strategize for more difficult later nodes. Doom raids and Ultimus raids will allow you to sim approximately up to 60% of the Doom of the raid, while you'll be able to sim approximately up to 80% of the Greek raids. Will closely be monitoring the effects of raid sim overall gameplay and to ensure it's having the effect intended. In my personal opinion, this is kind of trash. If you ask me, this is not really as helpful at all. Yes, it will reduce some screen time, but it's not going to reduce the screen time that we desire. There's been other games where if you beat XYZ node and you 3-star it multiple times, then you're able to fully sim through that node. Here it's like you're gonna go in and you can sim you can hit the auto button, right? Like what you do with nodes now probably, but there's probably gonna be a feature where you can just hit that, like Blitz Sim, right? Where you can just kind of sim that. That's not really what we wanted. What we wanted was, okay, if I beat XYZ node XYZ amount of times, that now I'm going to be able to sim through that node. That would eliminate the screen time, right? So that would even incentivize players to build up teams a little bit more, to put more investment into characters. I think that this is a miss, but not just a miss from the perspective of us just not wanting this. Like this is not really as helpful. It's also a miss too from like a marketing perspective. Like me personally, I probably would have invested a little bit more into some characters just so that I could 3-star the node, just so that I would not have to do it anymore. So in my opinion, they kind of missed the mark on this one completely. I don't know. There are other models that they could follow. Like if you look at Swogo has a similar function from my understanding. At least that's what I've been told. They copied Grand Arena, So why couldn't they? Well, they didn't really implement that very well also, so I guess we shouldn't have expected more. But yeah, this, in my opinion, was a miss. I do think that they definitely probably should revisit this and think about, unless they're going to be selling us teams in the future, and that's their desire for them to sell us teams that are going to make these nodes autoable, then sure, I guess that's the direction to go in. But in my opinion, miss, especially the Greek raids. Like, oh my God, this is fully auto for a lot of us right now, except for maybe like, no, it's fully auto for a lot of us right now. Like the alpha raids, completely autoing those, right? The beta raids, you can kind of auto it with the new warriors, and depending on what lane you're taking, like you can kind of auto a lot of those nodes. For me personally, this is definitely a near miss in my opinion. But something else that they're going to be adding as well to this patch is this new 7-day login streak. Now this I actually like this. So talk about how this is going to be arriving in the 6.2 patch here, activating the 7-day login streak. So each day you log into the game, you'll build up your streak, and starting on your 7th straight day, the 7-day long streak will be activated. Continue logging in each day after the 7th day to keep your streak alive and continue receiving the benefits. You'll have until your daily objectives reset, depending on your time zone, to log in each day. And then they talked about what's going to be auto completed here, right? So auto complete daily objectives if you're coming to level 64 and above. Daily arena battles. This one doesn't bother me. I guess the objective of it, okay, that's fine. Real-time arena contender, yeah, like eliminate me having to do that. That would be great. Villains, this should have been gone a long time ago. Like the villains node farm requirement, the heroes node farm requirement, they're not getting rid of it. They're just making it like fully autoable. So I guess that's I'll take that too. Auto win, 3 missions, yes, get rid of that. Blitz champion, complete 2 battles in Blitz. Yeah, I mean that can go as well. There might even be some other ones that probably could also be autoable too. So I actually like this one because there's a lot of these little like tedious things that I usually skip. Like sometimes I just don't do this, and I know you're like, well, you got to get the tokens for Strike Pass. Sometimes I just don't do the real-time arena one because like this game mode sucks. I don't want to sit here and auto this. So I do like that you're going to be able to kind of just fully sim through it now, or auto complete it now every day in the daily objectives. Definitely the villains and the heroes one, because that's kind of annoying. I don't have to do that either. I'm happy that after that 7-day login streak that you're going to be able to do that. But in addition, there's some other things that I definitely would like to see them add. Save squads. I think we're like over cap now, right? Or we're close to cap in terms of save squads. There hasn't really been any sort of conversation or discussion in regards to whether or not they're going to be increasing the amount of save squads that we currently do have, especially with this next patch now with these new characters being added. It's definitely going to put us over the mark here. So that's been something that players have been talking about a lot, and I'm hoping that they're going to be making some changes where that is concerned. I'm still sort of pushing for an orb slider. I understand that we now have the multi-orb function. We can use our credits for that. I would still like the slider where I can click on the button and I can say I want to open up 150 of these, because I have a lot of orbs that honestly I wouldn't mind opening them, but I'm not going to sit here and click open them up 10 at a time. Even that's still like way too much for me. Like my purple gear raid orbs or stuff like that, like I wouldn't mind opening those at all. It's just once they accumulate too fast. Sometimes even I would say even my T2 my blue ISO orbs, like sometimes those go too high too. But I would just like to kind of just click on the slider, open up 25, and then be done with it. That's sort of a direction that I would like to go in. So we'd like to see them make those changes as well. I know somebody had mentioned this before, I think last patch, but they've been having a lot of players have been having issues with animations taking too long in raids, right? So you're trying to auto through a node, but the animations are just taking too long. Even on the low graphics mode, the animations are still just taking way too long. So giving players a no animations option, I think is something that might be something that could be considered as well, because sometimes animations for certain nodes just take way too long, especially like web warriors usually go through nodes pretty fast, but some of those other nodes like your tech nodes where you can time out, some of these other nodes where it would be nice to sort of just have like a no animation function. But skipping forward here, we also do have the Ace of Raids that's going to be coming this week. That's supposed to be going live on patch day whenever that does happen. I think, well, we're expecting it's going to be June 15, right? So the patch is going to happen. That's Wednesday. That's tomorrow. So we talked about Ace of Raids. we went through the character options already. I'm not really a big fan of it. Clubs and hearts seem really rough. Actually, cards you can get away with some characters. Spades, okay. Diamonds, all right. Clubs just is absolutely atrocious. Magneto, Loki, Silver Surfer, Taskmaster. You're gonna need all of these individual traits here in order to be able to do the Gambit raids. And it could be fun because there's like this random mechanic where you can get in certain specific nodes. You can get there's 3 options of teams that you could get. Some players like it, some players don't, because you don't get to get so familiar with it. And if you could kind of screw up a node, you kind of want to gain some familiarity and practice. I can understand that. I like the randomization of it because right now for Doom raids we see the same teams every day. Alpha raids, Greek raids, we see the same team every single day. So it's like, yeah, whatever. So I do kind of like that, but the character options really for me are bad. And then also, of course, these scourges, modifiers, combat modifiers that will sort of change how things work in some of these nodes. Like when a player character blocks, they also gain stun. When a player character uses their ultimate, all enemies gain 1 energy. Things like that for me definitely could make this an unfavorable experience, but more so that the modifiers probably wouldn't be as bad if the character options were better. But I'll go through a video where I'll talk about the specific character options, which ones that you should sort of try to build out here for each one of your individual traits, and then we'll sort of kind of go from there. Also wanted to talk about this really quick too. There is a map also for the raids on msf.gg, just in case you weren't aware, but also wanted to talk about this really quick as well. The Morgan, there was a Morgan update yesterday which talked about we're going to be able to get some red stars now, additional red stars on Morgan Le Fay. So Morgan Le Fay is going to be able to get a 6 and a 7 red star upgrade. Now I hate this actually, because right now, like, the stats, the resistance on Morgan Le Fay is really high, and at 5 reds, my 5 and 5 Morgan Le Fay, sometimes I have really some difficulty against a 6 and 5 Morgan or a 7 and 5 Morgan, right? If I don't have Loki with me, it makes it a really challenging matchup. So now that they're gonna get 6 and 7, it's one of those situations where it just widens the gap, and it makes the haves and the have-nots, it just kind of just widens the gap where that is concerned. Me personally, not really a big fan of it. Don't like it. It's not for that character, right? Like, I don't understand even why they couldn't just leave it to where for the legendary horseman, why not just leave it where it's just 5 reds? I don't mind this in the future where more players have had an opportunity to get shards for Morgan. But as it stands right now with where the game is, I'm just not really a big fan of it, in my opinion. So definitely, I'm not really excited about this sort of change that they're having right now with being able to get these 6 and 7 red stars on Morgan Le Fay. They're also other in the Pestilence Orb, so where you can get more guaranteed shards for Morgan Le Fay. They're selling them as offers in the store, so you can get shards for her now if you're outside of. You can get shards for her now if you before her Scourge event returns, because we don't know exactly when the Pestilence Scourge event is going to return. So you can purchase the orbs right now in the store. Took a look at it. The orb is like, I don't know how to feel about it really. Like, it's you. So you have a chance here where you can unlock. You can get you're getting a guaranteed shoot 2 shards per orb, right? Because 90% you have these 2 pillars where you can get shards for. It's left pillar 90%, and then you have the center pillar 90% where you can get 1 shard. You could get 2 or 3, but most likely you're gonna only get 2 shards. You could also get some gear, I think, from this as well, or some other character shards or other rewards that you can get from here as well. You do get an opportunity and a chance where you could get 20 shards for her, or you could get lucky with getting 50 shards for her, right? Like, it's really, you're sharing, she's at a lower percentage drop, so you're more guaranteed to get 2 shards for her than you are to get those big drops. I don't know. I don't know if that's worth it. If the offers that are here, there's only one that I see right now. This one's $2.99. There might be some other offers here. I've kind of not been looking at offers recently because the offers have really been terrible. I don't know. Like, maybe that's something that you would consider, but I just personally wouldn't consider it. But Yeah, the 6 and the 7 red stars for me on Morgan is really more of a bigger issue than anything else. I could care less about the Pestilence Orb if you really ask me. But just kind of wrapping some things up here. The Pride Inferno event that's going to be ending tonight here, so try to finish up and get spend your campaign energy here. I might be able to get this. We'll see. I haven't done my campaign refreshes yet, so I'll probably be able to finish that off today. Jubilee is back, as you guys saw already. Omega Red was pushed back. Not quite happy about that for some players here. The calendar, though, is still active, so you are able to get both calendars for Jubilee and Omega Red are active right now. And then the Quick Rumble Blitz for this week is also going to be showing up on Thursday of this week, so do take advantage of that as well, so that you can get those disco balls that you do need here for your main milestone, the Rolling Rebel. But listen, guys, looking forward to the patch this week, hoping that things go well. We're probably going to get a lot of bugs, but also really looking forward to some maybe other features that haven't been mentioned as yet that maybe might be added to the game upon the 6.2 patch. Listen, appreciate you guys watching the video. Look for it. I'm going to try to see if I can get a video out for the Gambit raids, and we'll talk about that there, guys. But listen, appreciate you guys being here. Until next time, guys, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe. Bye.